Ever scrolled through your phone and felt a weird sense of déjà vu? Like you've seen this app before, just with a different logo. You're not imagining it. From social media to banking apps, there's this growing sameness, a kind of digital monoculture. But why is this happening? Are we trading creativity and digital diversity for a world of identical-looking apps? Let's dive in. The story starts with something called the design system. Think of it like a giant box of Legos for app designers. Big companies like Apple and Google created their own. Apple has its human interface guidelines, and Google has material design. These aren't just suggestions, they're detailed rulebooks on how apps should look and feel on their platforms. They define everything: the size of buttons, the types of fonts, how menus should slide out, even the specific shades of gray to use. Why did they do this? For a very good reason: consistency. Imagine if every app on your iPhone had a completely different way to go back to the previous screen. One might have a button at the top left, another at the bottom right, and a third might need a weird two-finger swipe. It would be chaotic and incredibly frustrating to learn. Design systems create a universal language for users. You instinctively know where to tap because you've seen that same layout in dozens of other apps. This makes new apps feel familiar and easy to use right from the start. For developers, it's a huge time saver. Instead of reinventing the wheel for every single screen, they can just grab a pre-approved component from the design system's library. It's faster, cheaper, and guarantees a certain level of quality and usability. So, on one hand, this standardization is great. It makes our digital lives smoother. But there's a flip side. When everyone is building with the same set of Legos, a lot of the buildings start to look the same. This trend has a name: blanding. It's the process where unique brand identities get sanded down and smoothed over until they fit a generic, inoffensive, and frankly, boring mold. You've probably seen it. The minimalist logo, often in a friendly, rounded sans serif font. The clean, white background with lots of empty space. The splash of a single bright accent color. The friendly, abstract illustrations of people with long limbs and tiny heads. It's a formula, and it's a safe formula. Startups, in particular, love it because it looks professional and trustworthy without taking any big risks. They want to look like the established players. And the established players are all following these unwritten rules of clean, minimalist design. The problem is, when everyone is trying to look professional and trustworthy in the exact same way, no one stands out. The vibrant, quirky, and sometimes gloriously weird early days of app design are fading away. Remember when apps had personality? They used textures, gradients, and unique icons. It was a bit of a Wild West, sure, but it was also exciting. This pressure to conform isn't just about aesthetics, it's also about business. Venture capitalists and investors often look for patterns of success. If a certain type of app design is associated with successful, billion-dollar companies, new startups feel pressure to mimic that style to signal that they are a safe bet. It's a feedback loop. Success breeds imitation, and imitation leads to more sameness. Another huge factor is our user behavior. We, the users, are creatures of habit. Decades of using websites and apps have trained our brains to expect certain things. We expect the logo to be in the top left corner to link to the homepage. We expect the shopping cart to be in the top right. We expect the main menu to be hidden behind a hamburger icon, those three little horizontal lines. This is called the user's mental model. When an app deviates too far from these conventions, it can cause what designers call cognitive friction. We have to stop and think, wait, how do I do this? And in the fast-paced digital world, that moment of hesitation is often enough for us to just give up and close the app. Designers know this. They run A/B tests constantly, testing different layouts, colors, and button placements to see what gets the most clicks and conversions. More often than not, the winning design is the one that's most familiar to users. So, in a way, our own preference for the easy and familiar is pushing design towards a standardized middle ground. Let's take a look at some specific examples. Think about the bottom navigation bar. On almost every major app, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, you'll find a bar at the bottom with 4 or 5 icons: home, search, create, notifications, profile. The icons might be slightly different, but the structure is identical. Why? Because it works. It keeps the most important functions of the app within easy reach of your thumb. It's efficient, ergonomic, and above all, it's what users now expect. To change it would be a brave and potentially costly experiment. Or consider the card layout. A card is a self-contained rectangle of information, usually with an image, a headline, and a short description. You see it everywhere, on Pinterest, on news websites, on e-commerce sites. It's a brilliant way to organize diverse content into a neat, scannable grid. It's modular, responsive, and easy to digest. But because it's so effective, it's become the default solution for displaying almost any kind of content feed. So, are we doomed to a future of digital boredom? Is every app destined to become a bland, generic clone of every other app? Not necessarily. While the big platforms enforce their rules, there is still room for creativity. True innovation in design isn't about changing the placement of a button for the sake of being different. It's about finding better, more delightful ways to solve a user's problem within the established framework. Great design can still shine through in the details. Things like micro-interactions, those small, delightful animations when you like a post or pull down to refresh a feed. The choice of typography, the color palette, the tone of voice, and the copy, all of these can give an app a unique personality without breaking the fundamental rules of usability. Think of an app like Duolingo. It follows many standard user interface conventions, but its playful illustrations, gamified progress trackers, and the personality of its mascot, Duo the Owl, make it feel completely unique and memorable. It uses the standard Legos but builds something with real character. The pendulum might also be swinging back. As the digital landscape becomes more crowded and homogeneous, brands will have to find new ways to stand out. We might see a resurgence of more expressive, bold, and unique design styles, a sort of blinding backlash. Designers and companies who are brave enough to break the mold, to prioritize personality alongside usability, could be the ones who capture our attention next. They'll need to do it smartly, without sacrificing the intuitive experience we've all come to expect. Ultimately, the quest for digital diversity is a balancing act. It's a tension between the universal language of usability and the unique voice of a brand. Design systems gave us a foundation of consistency that made technology more accessible to everyone. Now, the challenge for the next generation of designers and creators is to build upon that foundation to create experiences that are not only easy to use, but also joyful, memorable, and full of the personality that makes us fall in love with the product in the first place. The future of app design isn't about throwing out the rulebook. It's about learning how to write in the margins. So, next time you download a new app, take a closer look. See if you can spot the familiar patterns, the shared DNA with other apps on your phone. But also look for the sparks of creativity, the small details that give it a unique soul. The digital world may seem uniform, but there's still a universe of creativity hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this little exploration of digital design, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.